welcome back to our channel. I'm Bree.
I'm Steph.
And we're the Phoenix Makeup Collective. And today we wanted to do a super fun tutorial. So I decided to do a metallic and green highlighted cut crease on Steph. She has the most amazing eyelids. So I really wanted to take advantage of that shape and kind of just go for it. So to be honest, we didn't even really know how it was gonna come out in the beginning. And
I love it. I don't want to take it off.
Yeah. Really cool look. I mean, this is obviously something that's not no makeup everyday wear.
Whatever,
something
like this.
definitely something more for like evening, but then again, we did pair it with like a super soft glossy lip and really clean skin so that it isn't too much and really the eyes are the focus.
Dude.
So yeah, we used
next level.
a ton of amazing
so
products, which we can't wait to tell you about. Mel just came out with these amazing highlights, so we did use that on her cheeks, which you'll get to see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you want to see how I created this look, keep watching. First, I'm gonna use my Bioderma to remove any residue, any kind of leftover makeup or dead skin cells that's on her face before we even start prep. I really love this product because it is great for sensitive skin and it's really gonna make sure that everything is clean and kind of wiped off to give you that empty starting slate. Next, I'm taking Avene, which is just a thermal spring water, and this is just to kind of hydrate the skin. We just really wiped everything away, so now we want to start to re-moisturize. After the spray, we use the Embryolisse. This is their Creme Moisturizer. This is great for everybody. I really haven't found a skin type that doesn't really love this product. Whether you're oily or dry, I find it's an amazing kind of starting prep prime for the skin. And then I actually take a matte version and I just take it down her T-zone. And this is really just to make sure that those points of the face that do tend to get oily really start with a matte finish. Just to really get in there to show you guys a lot of prep today, we're also using that smoothing primer from Makeup Forever. This is gonna minimize the look of any pores, and I'm just putting it onto those spots of the face where you tend to find larger pores. Finishing by putting a balm on the lips, and then again I am spraying a second mist here, and this one has SPF in it, which I think is super important, especially with us coming into summer. So I do like to just kind of finish my prep with that mist. Next, I'm taking a beauty blender or any type of sponge, and I'm taking Max Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. Now the reason I'm applying it with this blender is because I find it gives you a softer application onto the eyes, and that way it's a little bit easier to kind of place it everywhere you need and not worry about too much product going onto the lids. And I'm just starting with the top of the lids here. Next, I'm taking a Smith Cosmetics, I believe it's a 230 brush, and I'm just dusting a translucent powder on top of the lids, and that's just gonna set that primer that we just set there. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into this crazy cut crease eyes. So I'm gonna start with Kat Von D. She's got a contour quad, and it's the color scheme Sage. Beautiful green, beautiful warm browns. And so I'm actually gonna use that base and that contour shade that's in this palette. I'm gonna mix them together, and this is what I'm blending into Stephanie's crease with a Smith 230 brush. This is my transition shade here. So this is gonna be that warm color that's gonna blend everything together. So we're gonna start by buffing that into the crease, really shaping out her eye before we start working in any of those green shades. Now, I'm going to put an emphasis on the blending in this. You're gonna see how much time I'm spending on it, because the more time I blend and fix everything now, the less time I'm gonna need to adjust anything once we get that silver cut crease in there. Now that I have my transition shades where I want them, I'm gonna take my Smith Cosmetics 235 brush, and I'm going to take that green sage color in the palette, and now I'm starting to blend that into her crease. Now you can see instantly how it's kind of deepening. The colors are blending beautifully, it's making the eye more dramatic, and it's really giving you that depth and pulling that crease back and pulling her lid forward. I'm going to focus on the shape of her eye first, and then you're gonna start to see I'm gonna blend out towards the brow bone on the outer parts, and I'm just gonna start to pull that color out to create that wing shape that we're gonna be going for towards the end. can see, I just keep going back, blend, blend, blend. So now I've got the shape, but I want to just make it just a little bit deeper, add a little bit more depth and shade to it. So I'm taking a few of the green shades from Kat Von D's Vida Loca palette, and that is unfortunately discontinued, but you can definitely still find it out there. I will list the specific shadows down below. But as you can see, I'm just going back in and kind of focusing that more in the deepest parts of her eyes where I need to kind of pull a little bit more shadow into it. And then I'm taking a clean brush and going back in and just blending, 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 adding a little bit more of that warm brown from the beginning, because again, this is going to be less work for me later. This one, as you can see, I'm using is a 247 brush. And what I love about this is that it's kind of pinched towards the base, which gives you a flatter end and keeps your tip a little bit more condensed. So you're still getting that beautiful blend, but you have a little bit more control and a little bit more concentrated color where you're placing it. And we're gonna do one more pass with the deepest shades that I've done, just for good measure. Up on the lid with a Q-tip, and then we are going to jump right into highlight. So first I'm going to use just a matte cream color. It's the one that's from that contour card that we started with. I just want to kind of buff out that top smokiness. Everything here just is looking so perfect that we want to make sure all aspects of this is blended. After I do the matte color here, we're going to use Kat Von D's Alchemist palette, and this is my absolute favorite. I don't actually know what I used to do when I didn't have this in my kit. Since we're doing this green inspired eye, I'm going to use the emerald color from the palette, and it is just so freaking beautiful. I mean, look at that. It just goes onto that brow bone. It was just the perfect addition to this eye to give it that bright, iridescent shimmer on that brow bone. I mean, it's just so cool. All right, so here comes the fun part. I am using Kat Von D's Concealer Creme in the color Whiteout. This concealer shade is amazing. You can use this for everything, which I won't get into now, but we are using this to kind of shape out this cut crease. I'm using my Smith Cosmetics 302 brush, which is actually a lip brush, but it is the perfect shape and synthetic hair to use to get a really clean, crisp line on that lid, and it's gonna give me exactly what I want to create the shape. So as you can see, I'm definitely taking my time. I'm gonna cover the entire lid first, and now I'm starting to pull it out to create that wing on that outer part of the eye. As you can see, that looks awesome. Now you could absolutely just stay with a white cut crease here, but we really wanted to go in with a silver. So before I start with the silver, I'm taking just a white shadow, and that's from her Vida palette. And that's gonna set the concealer creme because it is a cream pigment. To set this eye, I am using a Smith Cosmetics 253 brush. You'll see me again later using this for the silver pigment. Awesome, awesome brush just to kind of use for any type of loose pigment or powder that's going to be put onto the eye. So now you're gonna see us do it again on that second side. That silver today to kind of pack a little bit extra punch. So as opposed to applying it dry, I'm mixing it with the Temp2 Pro Mixing Medium. When I add a moisture to this product, it just completely kind of ups the metallic power of this, and so it literally looks like liquid metal. So that's what we're going for. So I'm using that 253 brush. I'm taking it from what's mixed on the top of my hand and then just pressing onto the lid. I am definitely taking my time with this, and a few times I might have to go back in and remix some more. I want to make sure the consistency stays even all the way across that eyelid. Definitely a huge fan of using a couple of different products when it comes to doing liner, and it might just be personal preference, but what I really love to do is start with Kat Von D's tattoo liner. I can get that nice and close into the lash line and especially into that inner corner. It gives you a lot of control and it keeps that line super clean and super even. So I start with that and go all the way across that lid to kind of give myself a guideline for the rest of the eye. Next, I'm going in with a product that I've just recently been introduced to, and this is Danessa Meyrick's 24-Hour Cream Color Fix, and it's in the shade Obsidian. I am using a Smith Cosmetics 203 angled liner brush, and what I love is that it's a 24-hour wear, and again, it is cream, so I find I have a lot of control over how I apply it, and because we do have quite a bit of product on the lid, I felt this might be the best way to go as far as anything kind of moving or transferring. This really glided right on top of that silver pigment, which was on top of that whiteout cream, which was on top of a primer. So I didn't worry about anything kind of pulling or dragging or taking away as far as instead of just laying on top. So as you can see, that's kind of getting out to that outer corner and creating that wing, and then it's blending into that tattoo liner that I've already set on the lid. Jump right into those lashes. So I'm just giving them a quick curl, and then I'm going to use Makeup Forever's Aqua Smoky Lash, and I really love this product. I find it doesn't crumble, it doesn't clump, it doesn't fall apart over time, and it's also my favorite perfect mascara to put underneath false lashes. So really we're just kind of coating those lashes so that there's no kind of shadows or loose pigment that fell on top of them. We want to make sure that they're really dark and black so that when we do apply those false lashes, they blend. I'm using Danessa Meyrick's Black Lash Glue. It's an amazing glue, and those lashes will stay all day. Stephanie really loves this brand, so we used BLVD Beauty lashes, and they're in the style Icon. She has such big eyelids that she can really wear those kind of big, fluffy, flared out lashes, and they don't look too much. So for this look, we thought they'd be absolutely perfect. I cut them and shaped them, and I ended up using the entire strip. What I did is I cut a little bit off, placed the big amount on there, and then took that small bit I had left over and just layered it onto that outer corner just to give her a little bit of an extra flare. So the top lid is completely done, so now we're going to jump into that under eye. So I'm going to go back in with a blender or a sponge and put a little bit of that eye primer underneath. And before that, again, I am going to, or make sure rather that you didn't see in this video, make sure you clean up that under eye, because once you start to put foundation on, if you have any fallout or shadows under there, it's just going to muddy up that under eye. So we did the eye primer, and then I'm actually taking a Smith Cosmetics 212 brush, and I'm taking more of that primer. But I wanted a small applicator to do this because I'm going up towards that wing. I didn't want to use the sponge to mess up all the work we've already done. I'm going to take now that highlighter that we have on the brow bone, and I'm going to pull it down into that inner corner of the eye, which just gives that under eye a little bit of brightness. Look how beautiful that is. And then we're going to blend that into more shadows going out towards the outer corner. I chose to keep that under eye a little bit brighter, so I'm using a bright, more neon type shade of green, and that's what's blending into that highlight, and then I'm going to take that out towards that wing. We are moving right along here. So I'm using my favorite spoolie brush by Smith Cosmetics and just combing through the hairs, and then I'm taking a brow gel by Essence called Baby Brow in the shade Dark Brown, and I'm going to kind of set Stephanie's hair where I want it to go. Now she does have her eyebrows microbladed, so I don't have to do a lot because she's already got the shape and the pigment where she needs it. So I just took a little bit of powder by Anastasia Beverly Hills and just kind of placed it into the little spots where I felt she needed a little bit of help. Now that all of that priming that we did at the beginning has really set into Stephanie's skin, we're going to jump into that foundation. So I am using a foundation brush that's by Sephora, and I'm using the Makeup Forever HD Liquid Foundation in the shade N118. I think it actually might have a different name now, but you can still find it by that color. It's the perfect shade for Stephanie, and I'm just applying it all over the face. I love the kind of consistency. I love the coverage. Makeup Forever is probably my absolute favorite company when it comes to foundation, so you probably will never see me not using it in videos. But I'm just using stippling motions and kind of blending it all over the face where she needs it. And then once I have that set, I'm going to go in with a little bit of their foundation palette. I find this product to be similar to a concealer, so that's what I tend to use it for. I'm just pressing it under her eye where I want it to go, and then I'm going to do a little bit down the nose, on the lips, and onto the chin, and then I'll take actually an eyeshadow brush that I use to kind of buff it into the skin under that under eye, and it gives me the control to keep it away from all that work we did on that beautiful eye. Or like you're seeing here, you can also use a sponge as well. About cream blushes, and I will probably never use powder again, or at least not without this underneath. So I am using Makeup Forever in 2 different shades here, and I'm mixing it on my palm, and then I love to use the sides of my hands to apply because it's a lot softer than your fingers. I'll still go back in and tap along that cheekbone with my fingers, but to get that first kind of application on there, I find the sides of my palms are my best friend for doing that. Once I have most of that cheek color where I want it, I'm gonna take a Smith Cosmetics 118 brush and use a little bit of foundation mixed with the blush and just kind of buff and blend out that product just so it's kind of perfectly diffused into the skin, and it also looks more like skin when you do this. I'm then just gonna dust a little bit of translucent powder on top of that cream cheek, so when I go in with a bronzing and contouring powder, I'm not gonna move that cream product anywhere that I don't want it to go. So for today, I'm going to use a Sigma powder. It's a little bit on the warm side, but with Stephanie's skin tone, it was a really beautiful kind of contour shade. And super, super light application here. She's got beautiful features, so I really didn't need to put a ton of product anywhere just to kind of put it there for the sake of having it. I just followed her natural bone structure and gave her just a little bit of a shadow to give her that look of really chiseled cheeks. Next, we are gonna use some Melt Cosmetics highlighters. So these are their new highlighters. This is the color Stargazer. Stephanie was super excited about this product, so I said I would use it on her in this look. And you can see how beautiful is that on that cheek. I love it because sometimes with powder highlighters, they can look a little bit dry or they can be too glittery. And this one to me is the perfect kind of mixture of giving you luminescence, a little bit of shimmer, but it's not looking oily or a little bit too cartoonish. So really, really beautiful. Now I'm going back in with those same two colors that I mixed for her cheek, and I'm going to apply those to the lip. To achieve a kind of diffused and coming from underneath look with the lips, I find it best to use an eyeshadow or a blending buffing brush. So I'm using Kat Von D's Eye Contour and Eye Shader Brush, and it's synthetic, so it's really awesome to use with creams. And I took the mixture of the blushes, and as you can see, I'm just kind of dusting it onto the lips, but it's gonna keep that outer edge more diffused, so it's not looking like a crisp application of a lipstick. I am then gonna go back in with a 212 brush just to clean up those outer corners. I wanna put a gloss on top of this, so I don't want too much of that cream to get too far down. Glossier has this amazing clear lip gloss, and I'm using my Smith 302 brush, and I'm just applying that right on top of that blush cream that we put onto her lips. It's giving her the most perfect shine. This is exactly what we wanted. We have such an intense detailed eye that I wanted to keep everything else simple so that it wasn't too much fighting on her face for attention. And this just gives you that little extra something without being too much. I'm gonna finish off this look with a layer of Fix and Mist Spray by Makeup Forever. This is gonna keep everything looking beautiful and lasting all day. And that is it, you guys, the final look here of Stephanie's green and silver cut crease eye.
Okay guys, so this is the look. I'm so obsessed with it. Like, I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing all the layers and the steps that Brie did to create this, because I feel so expensive right now.
I know. It's really fun. Obviously, it's something that is detail oriented, and you have to take your time, and you'll notice like there's little steps that I did, and if you take that extra time, it was less work for me later. So actually you'll notice like I didn't have to clean up too much because I was going really, really slow and paying attention to like clean crisp lines for that wing and all that product and everything. So we hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, and we'll link the products below so that
definitely.
you guys can check them out and find the products for yourselves, and make sure you subscribe to our channel at the link above. And I'm obsessed. Watch out for this look on Instagram. I'm literally gonna go to my spin class with this on.
Thanks guys.
Bye.